Now, friends, we continue on here in 1 Timothy, and today we're brought to the 5th chapter. And as we come here to the 5th chapter, actually chapters 5 and 6 belong together, and they're the duties of officers in the church. And this is a very practical section. Believe me, this gets right down to the nitty-gritty of church life. And there's nothing romantic in this, but there is something quite realistic here, and I trust that it may be meaningful for us today. Now, I want to begin reading at chapter 5, verse 1. And we have here the relationship of ministers to the different groups in the local church. And we find here his first relationship are to the elders. Now, there has been some difference of opinion here where Paul uses the word elder. Is he referring to the office of elder or to the age of the person? Well, in view of the fact that in the early church, the elder was an office, and the word itself does refer to the individual. It would be a mature saint, a mature child of God, and a man that occupied a certain office. Now, here I think that both are in mind for the very simple reason the elder was an elder. He was an older man. Now, he says here, rebuke not an elder, but exhort him as a father, and the younger man as brethren. Now, he was not to rebuke an elder publicly, but he was to be entreated privately. And the reason for that is, you must remember that Timothy was a young man, and he had to be very tactful in his relationship to these older men in the church. In other words, he was not to take the position of a know-it-all or to be in a position of being a dictator over these older men. And what he was to do was to encourage them, but also he was to have the word, I'm sure, with them privately if he thought that it should be done, because he makes it very clear here, rebuke not an elder, but exhort him as a father, and the younger man as brethren. Now, this is a sweet relationship that should exist between Timothy and the older man, and then those his own age. Now, we have here his relationship, or the relationship of the pastor or the minister to the elder women. The elder women as mothers, the younger as saints. And notice this, with all purity. There is one thing that a minister should be very careful of in a church, is his relationship with the opposite sex. This has wrecked the ministry probably of more men than any other one specific sin. And nothing hurts a church like this. I have been in several churches after they have had an experience of where the pastors had to leave because of this type of thing. And very candidly, I don't like to go into a church like that, and the reason is the spiritual deadness there is certainly noticeable. There's nothing that can destroy the spiritual life of a church than to have this kind of an experience. And this is not idle instruction here. The older women, treat them as mothers. Have a wonderful relationship with them. But the younger, remember they're sisters, and with all purity. In other words, the new morality does not work in the church and never will work